Fox News contributor and the host of Tomi Lahren is Fearless on Outkick.com. Tomi Lahren herself. Tomi, what do you make of this? So Tim Walz is cheering on the president's demise after two assassination attempts on Trump's life?
Yeah, it's not just in bad taste. It really is a jerk move. You know, I agree with Scott Jennings. He went from being maybe just a buffoon to someone who is, you know, truly sick in the head to make that kind of a joke and think it's funny. And that's exactly what Tim Walz has been trying to do for months now. He goes on stage, he says horrible things, hoping that those things will land as a joke, but they never do. I would also add, just last week, there was a horrific tragedy in Minnesota where little kids lost their lives. And then just a couple months back, you had two Minnesota legislators who were assassinated. So for him, as the governor of Minnesota, to stand on a stage and make a joke about waking up to news of an assassination or the death of a president, again, not just in poor taste, in my opinion, quite an evil thing to say.
Yeah, it's just horrible when you hear it, you listen to it. I mean, getting back to the president and his light schedule. Everybody has a light schedule on Labor Day. What do you make of MSNBC host Jen Psaki? She did an entire segment questioning whether he's hiding after he took just a few days off. This is the same former press secretary to Joe Biden who's accused of enabling the cover-up of Joe Biden's decline. She shut down reporters questioning about that. By the way, we looked at the president's schedule. What they're not noting and talking about is President Trump did a three-hour televised cabinet meeting, a bilateral with the leader of South Korea, multiple press conferences last week. Is that hiding from the American public?
I've never known this president to hide from anything. And this notion that he doesn't want to show his face, this president is so proud of his historic achievements, and he's happy to talk about them for hours on end through press conferences, answering a litany of questions from anybody and everybody who asked them. We just saw that in the press conference the other day, a wide variety of topics covered. He's happy to answer them. And I would also say this, there's a reason why MSNBC and CNN, why they have dwindling audiences. It's for exact reasons like Jen Psaki's entire clip there, trying to claim that President Trump is hiding or that he is unwell. The viewers do not trust them anymore, and not just conservative or Republican viewers who don't watch those networks anyway, but their left-leaning Democrat viewers are not watching because they simply do not want to be lied to anymore. Change your tune, Jen Psaki. Nobody believes you.
Thank you so much, Tomi Lahren. It's always great to have you on. Thanks for being with us tonight. It's great to see you.